Hello everyone and welcome to another weekly analysis on EMini futures. I want to talk about some different trades today that you can take, and we'll start with monthly here. And let me zoom out and let's look at this area here, and let's actually start with the Fibonacci retracements. So if you look at this area here, and I'll try to be as precise as possible, but here if you see there was close to a 50% retracement, a 2018 drop. COVID is close to 61.8 retracement. So that was the 2018. Then it broke out, and it was almost retested that 25 projection in Fibonacci and then dropped. Now let's do something similar here, and let's remove this retracement, and we can try from here to this much and see what it looks like. If we do that here, and if you can see here, so we broke out from here and we just complete projection kept going on up here. So if we want to, and it came back to that 25% over projection, retest that, and it's trying to going up. Now if you take the other projection here, so let's remove this, which is a complete here, that becomes the 50%, and that is the 61.8%. So let's remember these two. So that's around, let's say here 3486, so close to another 900 points from here, and then that's 3200. So let's say 3500 and 3200, and let me add those two here as levels. Another right here. I want to remove this. So if you want to take this as a trade, there's another trade where you don't really need to swing, but you can and you don't have time, you can always play the options here. If you go to the option chains and let's look at, so I'd like to see which ones are 21.8, that is 75 days. I prefer more to like 60 to 75 days, so 45 to 90 days. So that's a good place here. So let's look at the option chain expiring on December, and we were looking at the 3500, and so if you see, it says in the December the chances of moving is plus minus 293, so that means almost 300 points. So from here it says it can go to 4000 or it can go to 4600. So if that's the projection of the moves, and we are at 3500 and 3200, so if we trade 3500, which is right around here, right, how uncanny it is that if you see around 3500, the volume is very high, right? And let's look at what's 3200. The volume is 3200 and the volume is high. That's how the market works. You could always sell this, and you would now if you are not that risk averse, you can even go further up the chain. Here there is another one that is at the 3900, but let's say you go at the 3500, and you can always sell this out and just take some decay out, and that would be a very safe and good trade. Obviously, disclaimer here, options are very risky trades. If you have never done this before, I would highly suggest getting trained properly before going into this. But that's one way of participating, and when you don't have much time to do swing trades. Let's look at the swing trades here, and let's go into the channels, and I want to start with this side of the channel. And if you look at here, we are actually touching the, so always making higher lows, and that's the retracement, and that comes to that bottom of the channel. So that is right around here. So if you want to add right here, I'm looking, so that makes a good point there. So if you see here, whenever there is a retracement in a monthly, it comes and it's not exactly comes all the way to the bottom. It has little bit of space there, so that's why I'm saying, like, if this one comes here, that should be the space there. So I would say more of like here. That's also where it broke out, and retraced, stop hunting, broke out. So that's another level here, 42, 42. And let's go to the daily and take out extended hours and see if that makes any sense. That's right around that gap fill. So if at all it comes down, we can see that gap being filled and bouncing from there. But as of now, it did bounce here multiple days here, and that's another level there, 42.75. So let's say 42.50 to 42.75. So another safe trade is a level here also. You can start selling uh, multiple levels down here in terms of options, but I I am currently expecting, so after this M happened, so if you can see, that's a M here, and it sold off, and it is moving in sideways, so it may come down here, but if it doesn't, it will start bouncing right around here, which is the 42.75 area. So I may add a zone here to be a little bit more clear, and let's activate, and like right around there, that's the zone. So in this zone, if we are testing this zone, we'll go long here at this 42.80, 42.70 here with a stop of almost 30 to 40 points, and then target what? Target up here, right there, 43.70, so almost 100 points, and another here on the gap fill. So that's another trade, which is more than a swing trade that can be taken. So let me add those two levels. Obviously, this is a major resistance. That's the neck of the M. So that major resistance 44.45, and hence I'm expecting a bounce from here, and then I would be participating on this one. Again, depends on the price action for the daily charts. Let's look also into the weekly here, and let's enable extended hours, and as you can see on the weekly, it did not really confirm, and it is right at that level there, and hence I am even more positive that it may bounce from here, but I have to wait for the price action on the daily market open. It is in this trend making higher lows, lower lows and lower highs. So lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, maybe that's possible. uh, Still, I'm looking at this channel, at the bottom of the channel, a very strong area. I still think this would be a bounce here, and hence I am waiting to see a bounce and a squeeze to happen, and that's where I'll participate to the upside. And that's my plan going next week, is that looking for this bounce and participating in this bounce and trying to take profit at these levels. If it does break this level down here, then we are looking at here another level, that is 41.19, and obviously a big area is this here, right here. If it does break this, so let me clear this channels here. So if it does break this one, that's testing this big channel. If it starts going this one into this one, then it's actually reversed this whole breakout, and we are now going and looking into the retracement that I drew for the 50% and all of that. Pretty much we're going to retest that. So uh, I'm not sold on that. This weekly has really not confirmed. The gap did get filled. I like that, and this is a big level here on the weekly. So I think this would be a resistance here on the weekly, which we just talked about, and there is a high chance of a bounce. So if you're looking at the levels, these are on the weekly basis, these are the two broader levels, and then obviously the smaller levels and the levels in between that I talked about. That's the plan, squeeze, expecting a squeeze, and it is on the channel, and hence looking at the bottom of the channel and going to participate if it's a squeeze towards the upside. That's all I had. And as always, keep your stop losses tight, your losses small, and profit at large. Thank you for listening.